keep pushing.
I am Carl. I'm an addict alcoholic, and my sobriety is August 22nd, 2014. And you are?
Cool. I'm Chad Caruso, and I've been sober for almost 10 years now.
10 years, almost a decade.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. So this is SoberPod.
Soberpod.com. Yeah, SoberPod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.
SoberPod is a podcast dedicated to the idea that one addict or alcoholic helping another is crucial to building a life in recovery. That's kind of what we're doing here. And then join us this season as we read from our books. I have 366 Effing Days Sober is my book. It's a book I wrote. I might send it to you just for fun. And then, of course, Lindsay in her book, Spirit Vigilante. And you can go to thespiritvigilante.com, or you can go to soberpod.com and get the 366 book. And remember, when you buy the book, it really supports the podcast. That's how we continue that's the fuel to keep this machine running. So if you could do that, that would be awesome. So today we are here with Chad Caruso, as you heard. And it's funny, you get a lot of requests like, hey, can I come on your podcast kind of stuff? And people write books and they want to come on and all this other stuff. But you're like one of the few people that I said, hey, I need to reach out and get this dude because you're so inspiring. And of course, I picked you up on my feed because I like watching skateboarding, even though I'm too old for it now. And I still like watching it. So,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden, Chad comes up in my feed, and he's in my stream, and I'm like, hey, what's this dude about? And it's just skating across America is kind of what you did.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I had no idea. This is so funny. I think the algorithm just knows, right? I had no idea you were sober when I was watching you. I think that's kind of the cool part. And I'm like 4 or 5 videos in, and then I see why you're skating across, and you were skating for naturalhigh.org is a organization, and then you focus to attention of addiction and alcoholism and recovery, right? I was like, well, that's freaking cool. So you got me hooked, and I'm like, all right, I got to get this dude on. So Chad, welcome to the people. And then I want to know from how did you get from I'm now sober to I'm going to skate across America? So anytime you want to drop in what you're sober from and all that other good stuff, by all means, please.
Yeah.
But I'm really super interested. What motivated you to say, I'm going to grab my skateboard and I'm skating across America? Because I just think that's that's a big idea, right?
Yeah.
So how did that happen?
Okay, well, that idea itself, obviously it's kind of entangled with my whole sobriety journey, leading up to that. But that idea in itself came from me and my cousin. We make YouTube videos. So we were going to make a YouTube video skating across Italy for charity. Much thinner, do it in a day or two, maybe, kind of like a fun little project, right? And then COVID happened and we couldn't fly and we kind of just forgot about it. But I didn't forget. It kept sitting in my mind, and I'm like, huh. And I started thinking about America. I'm like, has anyone done this? And I start researching, and there's not many videos to see of anyone doing it, Mm-hmm. And that intrigued me even more. And I was like, there's no one that really did it completely solo, and it's not documented. So that just, once I saw that, I became completely obsessed. I was like, I got to do it.
So why did you tie it to alcoholism and addiction, and what you know what I mean? Why did you did you reach out to Natural High and do that?
Yeah. So after I had the idea, my next thing was why am I doing this? What's the whole purpose?
Yeah. What is the purpose? I think that's what I'm.
Yeah. So I'm like, I'm just thinking, what helped me, get to this point?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to give back to that cause. Mm-hmm. So that's why Natural High was just the perfect thing. Helps kids. They're in classrooms in all 50 states, and they help kids find something they're passionate about to focus on instead of drugs and alcohol. And for me, when I quit skateboarding, when I was drinking, that's when everything kind of went awry,
Yeah.
I brought it back and everything.
When did you start drinking then? How old were you when you started?
I actually started pretty late. I think I was late for 17, 18 kind of thing.
late for drinking. Yeah,
for some.
No, I read some of the stats on the Natural High stuff. I was reading the stat. There's 9 out of 10 children, basically, or 9 out of 10 people in addiction basically have started in their preteen, or teen years, right?
Yeah.
And I just thought that was like, well, I mean, that's definitely my story, right? Except I was 12 when I started. But the average, person starts at like, 13, 14 years old. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Crazy. So, so you were, you started late, but then, how long did you drink for then?
So, it was a slow progression. It was, with skateboarders, I'm going to the parties, and I'm like, big companies throw parties, a drink, have fun here and there, but I'm still primarily focused on skateboarding.
Sure.
And then I had a pretty bad knee injury, ACL, PCL tear. Put me on the sidelines, a little bit of pain medication. So that started kind of a whole nother thing. But then I came back fully focused, ready to come back to skating. Right when I fully healed 6 months after, someone crashed into me and re-tore a ligament in my knee. And that just kind of knocked the wind out of me. And then it became easier to just talk about skateboarding, hang out with skateboarders, kind of live the lifestyle, but not pursue it, not fix myself as much again, So, and then that kind of detoured my life for the next maybe 10 years,
Wow. So you went 10 years drinking and just fucking off? And
let's see, probably around 21, 22 till like 29. I'm talking like no job. Nothing matters. I don't care. I'm like floating around the world to go travel wherever I want, do whatever, couch surf, drink drinks off the bar, no money ever. I'd work random jobs because I like learning stuff, and I'd just figure it out, or I'd help a friend and then go drink with them, that was my whole life. Yeah.
So you have had no career basically, like in that regard at that point. You've had.
I wouldn't even say. I wouldn't say I had no career. I'd say even more so. Like I had nothing. I was a high school dropout. Yeah. I was beyond nothing from when and I had to restart at 29, like completely.
I mean, let me just say that's great. That's wonderful. I actually got like a leg up too, right? Because I was a high school dropout and all that other good stuff, and I had a police escort. Actually, I wasn't a high school dropout. I was a police escort out. That's what I had. Like they didn't want me back. Oh yeah, they didn't want me back. And then I tried to go to. I tried to move, and then they got my record, and they said, no, thank you. I mean, they had gang members in the school that I was wanting to apply to that were carrying guns, but they wouldn't allow me in. You know what I mean? It was like, like, wait a minute, like I don't know the difference. Yeah, either
damn.
Way. So I guess, so let's go back to like that moment. Like you're like you didn't let go of it. Right, obviously you qualify. Whether you're a heavy drinker, alcoholic, addict, whatever you want to call it. Right, you have a problem with substances. Period. Right.
Yeah,
and it's probably a mainstay in your life. And so then when you get sober, right, like how did that go down? What was that about? And did you? So it was obviously after is when you started talking about skating and doing all that other stuff. But,
yeah. So it was. I got my second DWI.
Okay.
The first one I got, and I was just like, laugh it off, didn't bother me, who cares,
First one
just
doesn't count anyway.
Shrug it off, go to they make you do like the mandated little program class type things. I drink around them 3 days a week or whatever, you're not really getting anything out of it. You have that attitude, like, I don't belong here, cross your arms type of a thing. Yeah. And then the second one, it started affecting the lives of people around me more. People I didn't like girlfriend's mom, my mom, like it started bleeding into people's lives. And that's, I never cared about my own life, but when it was affecting other people's, that's when it started like, something's got to change here. And then also facing jail time kind of was a wake up call. Like, wait, I'm the kind of person that would go to jail for like 3 years. Yeah. Like what? Yeah. Like that's not me. And that kind of was a wake up call, Yeah. Yeah.
No, I totally understand that. It's like I'm exactly the same way. Like where it's like, I drank to the degree where it's like I always said to myself, well, I'm not hurting anybody else. I'm just hurting myself, so it doesn't really matter. But the truth is like you were hurting even in the very beginnings. Before the first DUI, you're hurting people. You just don't know it. We're so selfish and just in our own shit that we just don't we can't comprehend that we're hurting people because then it would be too hurtful. Right, so we can't do that. Yeah, a lot of 100%. Denial, quote unquote. anyway.
Oh yeah, tons of that.
So let's move on. So you go, all right, you talked about Italy, then you said, you know what, I'm gonna skate across America. Okay. Did you have any like background before? Did you get a career? Did you go to college? Did you do all that stuff? Like what? How did like I want to know like what the mindset was of Chad going like, fuck it, I'm gonna grab my board.
Well, I mean, the skate across America was, years later after being sober, right? Yeah. So, I mean, the skate, I've actually never really skated long distance ever before that. Maybe like if I didn't have a ride when I was a kid, 2-3 miles, or in New York City, a couple of miles. But that was it. And skateboarders generally, they're different from longboarders. They only like doing tricks. They look at long skating like that's crazy. Yeah. So it was kind of, like a weird thing, but I don't know. It's just the fact that it wasn't done really before got me excited.
Well, I just got to say, it's a huge inspiration just that you like go, you know what? Like, first of all, that you set the goal and that you complete it, right? It's like, but everything in between just seems like it takes so much more like faith. I don't even know how to explain that, right? Like you're just like, I'm just going to do this and see how it works out. And how more, in the moment and mindful and like, it's like, in recovery, we talk about like in the circles, you talk about, do the next indicated step, right? It's like that kind of attitude. That's exactly what you're going for. That's got to be like the most unknown experience that I think maybe, and it's such a big one that you like, that you know what I mean? It's like, so it takes a lot out of a person in order to do that. So I'm really interested, like, first of all, you would have never done this if it wasn't for getting sober, right?
Never.
Yeah.
Never.
Like wouldn't. I mean, I do want to point out to the people before we go even any further that like it took you, like you averaged like 50 miles a day. It took you probably like 60 days almost 60 days?
57 days.
57 days.
Mm-hmm.
And that not only like, so you kind of vlogged the whole experience, and then you created a book. You did a award-winning documentary. Like, I mean, these are all these, and this is like what it took you 2-3 years to do all this stuff. Like, how long did it take?
Yeah, we're at about 2 years now. I think something like that.
I mean, an amazing journey, and this has come from somebody who is like, I just fucked off for 10 years and helped a buddy move his furniture and did some fucking beer. You know what I mean? It's like this. So in a very short time frame, you have literally, I mean, you in less than a decade, you have 180'd your life and then and extended it beyond and then some, right? It's an amazing, and I really love, if you're a skater and if you're into skating, like you didn't change your wheels, and I love that you were holding the line on that one. Like I watch your videos and you'd be like, I was thinking about changing them, and I'm like,
I was getting berated in the comments, like, please change them, but you're gonna kill yourself. Is this for charity? What are you doing? And I'm like, nah, it's got to be the same set.
Yeah. So, and I love that now that like the world has a meme and it's basically the cheese wheel, right? Like you literally have created so I just love that little stuff about that stuff.
Yeah.
But so I do want to get into like the role that like sobriety played in like this experience for you and how you utilized your sobriety in order to like achieve this monumental shit and turn a lot of things around. So can you tell me more about that? How did you take your, sobriety over like the last the first 7 years of it, and then turn it into this? Like how did that happen?
Yeah. Well, once I decided to quit drinking and realized I was bringing all of these problems upon myself, anything I had in my life, I'm
the asshole?
Yeah. I started to realize I was making all of like life hard, and it wasn't an instant thing, but there was a moment where I kind of did see like that big picture,
How long did that take before your head came out of your ass?
Oh, I mean, it was up there for a while, so it's like how the glimpse it popped right out. But no, it took a little bit though. And then I had to fill in that void with something positive. you know, because you got all this time, you're like staying up late, sleeping in late, so you got to like reconstruct your schedule and your life and your interests. And
Did you do that through treatment, or did you have like a counselor, or how did you just instinctively go like, this is what I need to do? Like, how did that happen? I
have nothing against AA or any programs or anything, but I did it all completely solo. I just decided like, all right, I want to give back. I want to help people, right? And I want to channel my energy to something good. So I just decided to pick up skating again and make a YouTube channel, which was a whole nother thing in itself because I hated YouTube before that. I was against social media. I was like, thought it was so egotistical.
Damn the man. Turns
out a lot of the times when you hate something or you judge it, there's a part of it where it's secretly like what you want to do, or you know, there's something underlying there. So
damn those straight A kids, I really can't stand them. Damn that Elon Musk has too much money.
Yeah, exactly right. So I dove into YouTube and just tried to share anything I ever learned from skateboarding or sobriety on there. I started with trick tips before we got into the sober stuff because I wasn't really seasoned yet.
I went. And just by the way, if you're listening, like, definitely do yourself a favor and go look up Chad Caruso, and it's ChadCaruso.com, and then you'll find like all the links to all his stuff there. But you can look him up on the YouTube as well. Just at Chad Caruso, and then you go all the way back. Like I suggest everybody go all the way back and like kind of see the early stages of it too. Because dude, you got me hooked. I was like, dude, you're in my feed
awesome.
all the time. So and again, just even preparing for this, I went to go look back and see like, oh, geez, that's just make sure you're like not being like, I don't know, selling a cult or whatever.
Yeah, you got to double check.
On top of that, he's selling a cult. So sorry, go on. I totally interrupted you. So you didn't do like no treatments. You just all by yourself.
Nothing.
And but did you do this instinctually, or did you look it up at least? Or?
No, I think it was instinctually. And then my whole mindset about it was like, I'm going to use YouTube as an introspective tool. And I'm going to be on camera, and everything I feel about it, I'm going to try to take it in. And if people say stuff, I'm going to try to, take it in. And this whole thing is going to be uncomfortable, but I'm going to embrace that. And instead of shy away from it. And I think I learned so many lessons. I learned to speak better. I would like mumble and curse and stuff. And I started seeing, there's like kids around you copying you, and you're like, I'm cursing up a storm smoking cigarettes. So those things slowly started shedding off of me, as I'm like facing myself.
I quit smoking and vaping. It'll be 10 years ago in oh my gosh, 5 days.
Congrats. That's awesome.
Yeah. Like, so, but I did a year before that is when I stopped doing alcohol.
Same here.
Right? Yeah.
1 year later, and then your body almost goes, what are you doing, dude? Like everything's all healthy here, and you're still doing this, and you're like, all right, I'll get rid of it.
And I just felt like, it's like so much like bondage of things, you know what I mean? I was just a prisoner to all those other things. It's like, when the battery goes out on the vape and you're like, you start to panic, and it's like, oh, like that thing's got me, you know what I mean? And I was like, ooh, like once I freed from alcohol, I'm like, I had the same feeling when I run out of alcohol. Right now, I'm like, I had the same feeling when I run out of the juice on my vape or whatever. I'm like, you know what? That is doing the same exact thing to me. I can't do that anymore. And I just like, it took me a while. That was like a life goal for sure, right?
Yeah.
I've been smoking since I was like freaking 8 years old.
Wow.
So with cigarette in my mouth on the half pipe, that kind of stuff.
It's tough. The more years invested in anything, the harder it is to quit. You just burn in those patterns even more. And
then you think it's your identity. Then you think it's like that's who I am.
Right.
So
everything's just patterns. That's what I've learned.
Exactly,
that's it.
Exactly. So. Yeah, not to discount AA or 12-step or anything else like that. But the thing is like when you do it instinctually as well, sometimes there's a lot more stumbling blocks. There's a lot more things that you have to overcome. But it sounds like you actually had a smoother ride than most people, right? Like you didn't relapse. Like you didn't like go back and like.
I did.
Oh, did you?
I did. Before that, like if you rewind the story, after I got the first DWI.
Yeah.
I got sober for 1 year, and then I was like, oh, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm cool, you know, and then I had a couple, and then that slowly ramped up after you have a couple, and then you go right back to the same. Oftentimes even worse because you're trying to like catch up on what you missed, you know?
Yeah. Hey, let's get back into it. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I know that feeling too.
Yeah.
Far too well. Yeah, I had sober for 5 years when I was 20 to 25, and then it's so funny. Here's how I rate the damage: is I had gone to college and I had tech school, and I had $10,000 worth of debt from going to tech, which is not bad, right? You know, 2 years of school, $10,000. And then I drank for about a year and a half, and then I was $30,000 in debt.
Wow.
So
yeah.
I more than, and did not go to college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like just in a year and a half, I had more than doubled my debt. Or
That's
tripled
wild.
my
Yeah.
debt. Yeah, just from fucking off and doing stupid shit. All right, Chad. So basically, it has being sober and leading that lifestyle kind of pushes you to that 7-year mark where you decide like I'm gonna grab my board and go and do this. Obviously you're building on your successes as you go, and this is like something that you've been doing. So like talk to me about that. Like how did that help you get from, you've built on these successes, and now you're just like now I look at it as like the rocket's taken off, right? That's how I look at it. So you filled the rocket with fuel. You got all your stuff going on. How did that happen?
Yeah. It was a slow build. It seems, once you have some moment of success, it seems like overnight, but slow, painful build. Felon, probation, all this stuff. You're like $10,000 in debt, trying to pay everyone back. I have a broken arm from a bar fight. I've never had a real job, so now I'm trying to get a job to pay people back and like rebuild my life.
Yeah.
And I can't. I'm like, all right, I want to do YouTube. I want this to be my life. I got to find a job that will work with that. So I've decided to become a server. It'll help me speak to people. I can pick up and go to any city if I want. I have quick cash. I could skate around it. So it looks like, oh, you skated across America. You got all the time in the world. But you also take into account the sacrifices and decisions like to lead up to that. So it wasn't just this like overnight kind of thing.
Yeah, you have to prepare to launch.
Slow,
right?
And that place I had never served before. They didn't want me in the front talking to people. I was rough around the edges then. So I was in the back packing tacos, 29 years old, with like a 21-year-old manager making $10 an hour.
Sure.
For grinding my way up, like slowly. So this whole thing, I'm making YouTube videos at the same time, just as a passion to keep me entertained. And it's just building like year after year,
So then take me to the spot where you've saved up, you've acquired enough, I guess, fuel to get on the board. How did that look?
On the board, like to skate across the country?
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough to say. I mean, I never really feel comfortable. Like a lot of it was just the idea, like the burning desire to bring that to life, and it's just like, I'm going to face whatever comes my way. But I'm doing this, that's really what it just compelled me. I'm like, I'm going to figure out anything that happens.
So you start in Venice Beach and you end, where'd you end? North Carolina? Where'd you?
Oh, I ended in Virginia Beach.
Virginia Beach. And then, and you talk about like one of your, I think in one of your Q&As, you talked about like skating across the California desert. And it's like that kind of moment. It's very, solitudinal, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And I would imagine it's probably very spiritual in its own right? It's like you get this like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing this, right? So I akin it to like a lot of the times I've gone through a lot of adversity in recovery, basically after my sobriety. Getting sober is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my entire life. It's probably why I do a podcast on it every week, because it's something that is definitely like, oh, changed my life, turned me around 100%. I see the world differently. I see myself differently. But I use all of the things that I've learned in recovery, basically, or after getting sober, in just about anything I do moving forward. So if I have some adversity, I had like, lung disease. I had to have like a upper lobectomy. I lost my balance actually from an inner ear infection, and I lost my hearing. I still get on a skateboard now and then, but don't tell my insurance company. But that's the thing, is like I utilize like all the lessons that I learned in order to like, overcome the adversity. So I want to go back to like you're getting on that skateboard and you realize like, holy shit, like I'm out here in this, I don't know what the temperature was, but hot and cold, I'm sure. And like, you're overcoming a lot of that adversity. And I'm sure your inner thoughts are like, what the fuck am I doing out here? And then also like, oh shit, I'm doing it out here. Like you probably have like a lot of, different thoughts going on. How did you utilize your journey in sobriety in the lessons that you learned as you are now achieving your goals? Do you know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, let's see. I mean, it's funny because I didn't use AA, but I've learned from doing this whole recovery like that. Those lessons apply. They're just like kind of the facts of life. Like once you go through that journey, they're going to surface whether you put a title on them or not. It's just kind of what happens, I would say the biggest lesson I learned was having faith. And I don't like using that word, but like just believing in general, because when you drink and drank the way I did, it didn't seem like my nothingness would disappear if I went down that path. It was belief. It was faith to be like, I'm going to try to do everything good and hopefully my life gets better, and it's the faith thread runs through the whole trip, because it's like people might have to help you. You depend on them for water sometimes. Like, you have to believe you're going to make it through the desert, a lot of it is just, just having that belief and following it,
Yeah, I think that's one of the things is, you talk about it's life, like this is lessons of life. And it's so true. But it's like, I always say like, AA, it does not corner the market on sobriety. And, the only thing AA really did is they took like all the lessons that like have been learned 2,000 years ago, and then they just repackaged them into a blue book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's basically it. It's like if you look to, for virtue, and you look to like, do good in the world, like, oh, guess what? I mean, it's not guaranteed, but it helps, right?
It's kind of funny. We've all been having the same problems for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Still just running around. We got the handbooks all around, and we're just like still doing it.
Yeah, the Bible says, "Do not tarry too long on the wine," right?
Yeah.
And it's like, duh. It's in there somewhere. So yeah, we definitely. Some things never change, that's for sure. So what I was really impressed by is in your journey was the first of all, I think we're touching on it, but we haven't really said it, which is like you're very open-minded to like the new experience of sobriety, whether or not you go into recovery, treatment center, counselor, or otherwise, because that's what they're going to tell you. Like you go into AA, one of the first, like you have three things: be honest, be open, and be willing. And it's like just you creating the YouTube and receiving feedback covers all those, right? It's like, you went honest, you went open and willing, and you're like, I'm just going to receive feedback. It's like, most people are not going to do that instinctually. So a lot of people need help in order to do that, because I was definitely one of them, because I was just running around in fear. But yeah, so I think when you do that, and then what I was really surprised by was the amount of people that would approach you and came out to greet you and meet you, and were like so supportive, and just how fucking cool did that feel? I just gotta say, like, that had to, like, there are times, like, especially in the end when you're going into Virginia Beach and you have all these people, it's so unreal, and you can hear it in your voice, like you're like, what the fuck? But across the way, like, I don't care if it was in like any other state, like you were definitely being received by a lot of people, sometimes by surprise or by happenstance, but people actually knowing where you are and looking for you on the highway, right? Knowing that you're coming. I just thought that was so beautiful.
Yeah, it was beautiful. Yeah, it was cool. Like, when you're doing something that big, I guess, maybe putting it out there too, or for a cause, like it changes a little bit. Like everyone wants to help. and get behind you. You know, it just
funny.
makes it, and you know, that fear of doing this big thing, it almost like flips upside down with support. You know, it's almost like tied to it in a way.
Yeah.
Like it just comes when you take on like a big challenge like that, as scary as it could seem. But yeah, I was blown away. Like the first person that came out to meet me, I think was like 5 days in or something. 70-year-old couple, been sober for like 50 years.
Yeah.
Brought me a packed lunch on the side of the road.
Yeah.
They were watching the YouTube videos and everyone lost it in the comments. And it was just like the most heartwarming thing. Met them for dinner at the end of the day. Like it was just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. And you can't, you know, I guess the journey doesn't happen like that if you're, you know, fucking off with your buddies, drinking a fifth, and you know what I mean? Like that experience will never come. Like, you know, no 50-year-old couple is ever going to come and sit on your couch and offer you fucking breakfast or dinner.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's,
there's almost cool. What's it, like a reserved nature when you're, not everyone, but when you're in that drinking kind of mindset where you write everything off, or you're, you know, maybe you villainize everyone.
Dismissive.
You kind of exactly. Dismissive is a good word.
Yeah.
And a lot of these interactions, like, I believe people are great, but I also believe me coming at it with a certain energy and openness attracts those interactions too, you know? And I think that comes from being sober, you know? Being more, a little more open and
Exactly. So tell me now about like what are the ideas for the documentary and for the book come in? Because I think somebody like me, I wouldn't have even like considered doing anything like that. I would have just been like, I grab my board and like I'll vlog this stuff and maybe I'll sleep in a hotel every once in a while. You know?
That's exactly what I did. On the first day, I didn't plan, like people met there, but I didn't plan it. I was just going to show up and do it like by myself and just like leave, you know? And same thing was true with the whole trip, the finish line, like all that stuff. I thought, it's just me out there. Like nobody cares. And then my friend flew out. He kept asking, he's like, can I fly out and take pictures of you? So he flew out one day, followed me like all day long, shooting photos, like hiding on bridges and stuff. And then I had a bunch of photos at the end of the trip. So I was like, all right, I should probably make a book about this. I was gonna release the book.
I got a bunch of photos. I might as well make a book. Like,
exactly. Like a photo book, you know, just like an art book kind of a thing.
No, but it seems very inspired, right? It seems like, you know what I mean? Like you're like, and again, you know, I just want to reiterate. It's like if you would have never done this stuff sober, but the fact is like now that you actually did the thing, you have built off of that thing. You've gone even further, which I really love. Like you got a deck. Like how many people have a deck? I love the deck, by the way.
Thank you.
It is by the way, everybody, it is if you you have to go to the site to see it, but it is Forrest Gump inspired. So and it's you sitting there, right?
Yeah, my friend he shot my wedding, and he actually didn't tell me. He photoshopped my head off my wedding picture and put it on the Forrest Gump.
The bench seat, right, where he's sitting there.
Yeah,
and then
put my board there and stuff, and
it just again, if you would have been wearing like one of those Bubba Gump shrimp hats the whole time, that would have been fun. But you actually wearing that black hat.
Here's the thing: is I actually never saw the movie until after the trip.
Oh.
People were saying this the whole time. Well, not the whole time, but as the trip went on and more people were meeting up.
Yeah.
You know, people were saying it, and then, you know,
skate,
I watched it. Yeah.
That's great. So that's kind of ironic. But hey, I guess time to get a little bit serious, right? So so of course, you know, the reason why you were skating across, you wanted to attach it to awareness, you know, addiction and, you know, that kind of stuff. And I think it's really important that you know, here's somebody, you know, a lot of times I see a lot of aversion to, you know, going into the rooms, going into AA, going to treatment or seeking counseling or whatever. You know, I actually, this time around, I started in Reddit Stop Drinking. That's where I did, because I didn't want to go to AA either. I was like, fuck that shit. Like, I don't want to sit in that hellhole, you know, and I did that in my early life. So, I guess that's the thing is like, what would you tell, you know, people who are, you know, considering getting sober? I mean, like what you're 29 years old, right? It's like, you've had plenty of time to do damage. You fuck some shit up, two DUIs, etc. Like, what would you tell people considering getting sober? And again, considering like the fact that maybe they want to do bigger things in their lives, right? Maybe they don't want to just be the fuck up the whole life.
Yeah.
What would you tell those people?
Yeah, I would tell them if you embrace it and you're excited to do it, it'll 100%, it'll change your life. Like, it's going to change for the positive. That's just, it's a given. I'd say I try not to identify with any of the programs or anything like that. I really like to think about it as coming back to reality and learn, like, taking all these things that we use to drown out reality or not to feel, and strip those away, whether it's the alcohol, the drugs, the medication, like whatever it is. All those things are designed to hide us from the feelings. And the feelings are usually telling us what we need to do or what we should do, or maybe you feel bad because you're being kind of a shitty person and you want to cover that up. You know what I mean? So once you sink into that and learn to feel that and look at it, you slowly start dissolving all of them and shedding them away. And then your life just continues to grow in a positive direction. And
then for me, it was, I went 60 days on without going into program, and I wasn't going to do it. One of the things that I ended up going back into the rooms because my wife left to go on a trip, and I still had alcohol in the house, and I still had and it was calling to me every day kind of a thing. And then and I knew I was going to drink again. I mean, it was game over, and I actually hauled that stuff out to the curb, and I was just so afraid to that I was going to jump right back into that, mindset and do whatever. But I was just I needed additional help. What would you tell somebody who is like that, who maybe you fear they're not doing it, they're not making it, they fear. I feared myself too much. You know what I mean? I was afraid of my own thoughts, for that matter. You know what I mean? So what would you tell that person who is trying hard, who's really done well so far, but just knows that they're not going to make it? What would you tell them to do?
I mean, it's tough when you're in it, right? Because it's easier to say afterwards, but a lot of it is, it's your mindset, it's your belief. And even in your language, you were saying, I'm scared of myself, I'm not going to do it. That's what you believe. So you're already kind of lost in a sense. You're mentally checked out and ready to fail. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah, so you can really, if you start paying attention to your language, you could see, hopefully I make it a week, or hopefully, when you say hopefully, it's I'm planning on failing already. Yeah. Or maybe, or once this, too. Right? And if you catch all these little words, you'll realize you're always leaving yourself little escape route to fall right back in. Mm-hmm. So for me, kind of catching that, maybe making concrete things or rules or games to follow makes it easier. You know?
Yeah. I think one of the things I did is I said in my mind, right? Not to anybody out loud. Mm-hmm. In my mind, I'm I'll go a year, right? And if I can go a year, that means I'm not an addict or an alcoholic, quote unquote. Yeah. And then I'll do that. And then that's when it's so funny. I was sitting in a meeting, and it was celebrating a year, and I was crying, and I wasn't crying because I was happy. I was crying because I was I'm one of these people, you know what I mean? And I was just I hated it. But then I actually made the decision. I burned the boats, they talk about, right? Yeah. There's no going back. I'm you know what? I'm absolutely dead set now on being in this mindset and this mode of life. And I just burned the boats. I'm never I'm not going to do that again. So,
I have a question for you. Did you feel, a big change in that year? Did you look back on that year and be like, I don't want to go back because of what I've built or how I feel now, or was it that noticeable? Yeah. Or
well, so I was very isolated. I had no community, and that's what I noticed in what your story is. You actually built your own community. You reached out, you talked to people, and it's I was so isolated because I drank myself into that isolation. So so when I started reaching out and actually talking to people and being honest and telling people what I really felt, and it was go figure. People are like, oh yeah, you're not that bad of a guy.
Yeah.
like like, oh really? Oh, that's cool.
You're talking now. Oh, it's great.
Yeah. And it still took me a while. Like I couldn't speak at a podium. I couldn't. I couldn't do any of those things. I couldn't speak to people in general unless it was about work. But if it was about me, I did not want to. I was not going to talk to you like about me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then, it changed. There was a time, probably about 4 or 5 months in, I went to go Christmas shopping in September, October, November. I went to go Christmas shopping, and I remember walking through a mall, looking people in the eye, and I thought that was really weird. Right, and I couldn't wait to tell people like I actually look people in the eye today.
Eye contact. Yep, that's one thing. Yeah, because you're almost like embarrassed. You feel like people could see into your. Yeah. They know. And then once you're like proud and healthy, it becomes a lot easier.
Yeah. You carry yourself with your head high, and you actually look into people's eyes, and it's like they talk about. I didn't realize that the sky was so blue. Like I'm like, oh, like this guy, because you never look up. You're always looking down when you're like, it's always a dirty street when you're doing that kind of thing.
It's true.
so Chad, do you have anything coming up that is like, I mean, again, you did such like an incredible thing. Again, the not only the journey, but vlogging the journey. Cataloging the documentary, like you went on and I missed it too. Like you were here in California. Like I feel like I got you too late. So, because I could have just drove down to San Diego and done this interview. It would have been.
Oh,
great.
Really? Yeah.
But yeah, you did this you went around with the documentary and you did a lot of screenings and that kind of stuff. Is there anything in the works for you coming up?
Well, so the documentary is actually not out yet. I did that whole thing, that whole tour, and the book. The book was self-published, and the documentary me and my friend made, and the tour. Yeah, just like sleeping in my car, driving around the country for a month straight.
That's wonderful.
Figuring it out, reaching out to people. Just figuring it out. The doc should be out the first week of August online officially. So I was just kind of doing early premieres.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So no one's really seen it yet unless they saw it in person.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So is that on YouTube or what is the deal?
I'm still trying to decide. We're in we got a couple weeks, so either Vimeo or YouTube, one of those two probably.
Is it a pay to play? Is it like $1, $2 thing, or what is it?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be like a pay to play. I got to talk to the director.
I might have just lowered the price on that. I don't know. Like, is it $55 or $60?
Yeah, I'm not sure yet, but definitely gonna be a pay to play thing because it was my friend flew out 2 different times to film me on his own dime, just followed me through the desert at one point and then met me in Tennessee. And we pieced together footage from the beginning, the end, and all my stuff. And so to cover all his expenses, we're gonna charge a little bit.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, these machines, cost money. I think that's just the idea. That's just what we have to do. And I think it's deserved. By the way, I don't think it's not deserved. I do think it is deserved. What you're offering is, again, I talked about it a couple podcasts ago with one of my guests. It's like, she was one of the first people on Stop Drinking that replied to me, and and I always talk about with her. Every year I email her and I say thank you for allowing me to break off a piece of your hope so I could grow my own, kind of a thing, right? And that's really what you do. It's like right now you're like, you're breaking off hope and spreading seeds.
Thank you.
It's definitely worth the dollars, the price of admission. Let me just say. I
appreciate that.
Totally appreciate it. So, Chad, I think that's what we have in our arsenal, in our talk today. Hopefully our technical ability doesn't interrupt. If you guys are listening and you heard a big glitch, that we had a technical drop off. But thank you very much for coming on. Thank you for doing what you're doing. You're truly inspiring. I really appreciate you taking the time to just come on and have this chat. Oh, I didn't even mention too. Are you doing a podcast? Are you doing your own podcast too?
I did. I kind of go in waves. I have these little spurts of excitement, and then I remember how much work it is, and then I just stop and like get back to, it's a lot to do a podcast completely solo, and then do all the clips and the thumbnails. I enjoy doing the interviews, but until I get to a place where I could kind of have it operating, it's on hold for now.
Hey, I think we get the benefit of being around for like so long, so we have like a lot of legacy subscribers. I guess is the idea.
Yeah.
So it still kind of makes it fun to do. But yeah, if I was just getting 2 listens a week, I would be like, I don't know. Like I don't want to. The interviews are great. I'll just run around and talk to people without recording it.
Yeah.
So and then the other thing. Like we talked about the meme of your cheese wheel. You have those postcards available? Do you still have those like cards available on your website?
There's prints available on my website of the wheel. You could get all granular, and you could see the giant chunks missing. Yeah.
I would just encourage somebody, if you can't just go pay for the documentary or whatever, go get one of those. It's definitely worth it. Something to hang in your office cubicle for some inspiration and maybe about, I don't know, getting your own thing off the ground or doing your own big thing, whatever that may be. It's something that I definitely think is worth, holding on to as a reminder that big things are possible in our sobriety. So, you know what I mean? Like that just to me was like, oh, I love that. I just love just the wear and tear on that wheel is absolutely perfect.
It's kind of funny with the wheel because I feel like it's representative of my life. You don't get a new one, and you gotta it's rough. It's kind of beat up, but I'm gonna make it work.
Yeah, make it work. Period. Make it work. All right, people. So my catchphrase is stay active, stay sober. What would you? What is your catchphrase for people?
It kind of came about on its own, but keep pushing.
Keep pushing.
Adds up. Yeah, checks out. But
all right, party people. That's it. We'll talk to you later. So stay active, stay sober. See ya.
Soberpod.com. Yeah. It was a sight to see him. Breakfast with Sprite and Seagrams. Wrestling with my vices, exercising my demons. My blessings were blocked, so I never got the message. I'm stressing, I'm only 12 steps from an exit. Regret it, because my imperfections were perfected. I ain't run from it, I accept it and rep it. It's a badge to me, good stories come from a tragedy. And when you survive, the glory will come in Act 3. The wait's over, 366 days sober. Morning affirmations that can start the day for you. Use my favorite bookmark for a placeholder. Finish when the day's over. Okay. Yeah, sober pod, keep it authentic, no facades. If it's real, then you know it's ours. Welcome.